Hey guys, so I thought I'll go through some of the exercises from 3H, 3I, and further. So going up to simultaneous equations, which is 3J. So 3H is all about transposition. So transposition is what we've pretty much been doing the whole time, which is rearranging a formula. So say the equation is A equals 2 pi RH. You would have to rearrange it to find, say, R. So you would make R the subject. So let's go through that together. Say you're given this formula. So you're given A equals 2 pi RH. And you need to find the R. The way you do that is, firstly, you need to remember that this part, so the right side, is 2 times pi times r times h. The opposite of multiplication is division. So we would have to divide this side by 2 pi h. And you'd also divide this side by 2 pi h. So you'll be left with A over 2 pi h equals R. Say you're given this equation, and we need to find R. The first thing you need to do is get rid of that 100. So you would times 100 on both sides, because obviously the opposite of division is multiplication. So let's do it in pink. I'm a pink person. So you times 100 on this side, times 100, and it also times 100 here. So your new formula would be 100 I equals PRT. Okay, so now what we need to do to get rid of the P and T is you divide, because the opposite of multiplication is division. And remember, in between these letters is a multiplication sign. So you need to divide this by PT, and you need to divide this by PT. So the new formula would be R equals 100 over 100I, over PT. Yeah. So the next exercise is the best exercise. The next exercise is simultaneous equations. I love simultaneous equations because it's like fun maths. You know, yeah, maths can be boring, but simultaneous equations for some reason is fun. So there's two methods for simultaneous equations. The substitution way, and there's the elimination way. So the substitution way is where you've got two equations, and one of them needs to be in the form of y equals mx plus c. The reason why one of them, doesn't have to be both, but one of them needs to be in that form is because you would substitute one of those equations instead of the y. So say you're given this equation, okay? So you're given this y equals x plus 3 and 6x plus y equals 12. We can see, using the substitution method, one of these equations has to be in this format. This equation is in this format, so we can use the substitution method. The first thing we need to do is we need to number the equations. I'm going to number this number 1 and number 2. And I'm going to substitute number 1 into number 2. So I'm going to write this down, sub 1 into 2. So now I'm going to rewrite the equation using, knowing that I'm going to substitute equation 1 into equation 2. So it's going to be 6x plus bracket x plus 3, because this is the equation 1, x plus 3, and that equals 12. Now we have to solve for x using this equation. So we can expand the brackets now. So it would be 6x plus x plus 3 equals 12. We can simplify, so we can make x plus 6x go together. So that would be 7x plus 3 equals 12. And then you would have to take away 3. Is when we're solving for x. So it'll be 7x equals, so you take 3 from this side, take 3 from this side. So it'll be, so it'll be 7x equals 3 minus 12 is 9. Then it will be x equals 9 minus 7. So what's 9 minus 7, guys?
The answer is approximately 1.285714.
Thank you, Google. So using my immense knowledge and no calculator whatsoever, I have found that x therefore equals 1.29. So now what you have to do is you have to substitute that number into one of those equations to find y. Because the first one's really easy, it's already done for you, I'm going to be substituting that x number into this equation. So we have that x number, and I'm going to substitute that number into this equation 1. So I'm going to say sub x equals 1.29 into 1. So I can write y equals 1.29 plus 3, and therefore y will equal 4.29, and that's your answer. So now I know that x equals 1.29 and y equals 4.29. So we're given these two equations. I can see that this equation at the bottom is in the same format as y equals mx plus c. So we can use the substitution method. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute equation 2 into equation 1. So I'm going to write sub 2 into 1. So now I can write x plus 2 equals 20. So now what I can do is I need to solve it for x like before. So it can be 2x plus 2 equals 20. And then I can simplify. So I can minus 2 on both sides. So it will be x equals 18. Now to get rid of that 2, I divide both sides by 2. So it would be x equals 9. So with this 9, what I can do is I can substitute that 9 into one of the equation. I'm going to substitute into equation 2 because it's easier. So sub x equals 9 in 2. So now I can write y equals 9 plus 2, and then I can say y equals 9 plus 2 is 11. And now we know that x is 9 and y equals 11. Awesome. So you're given these two equations. With the elimination method, what you need to do is you need to make sure that they're you need to make one of the pronumerals the same in order to take them away from each other and eliminate a pronumeral. This equation is really simple. So let's firstly label this as 1, label this as 2. And let's just say I want to get rid of the x, right? But if all you need to do, because there's an x, there's a negative x. So all you need to do is you need to write equation 1 plus equation 2. Because what happens when you plus a negative and a positive? It equals a negative. X minus x equals nothing, so there's no x. 3y plus y equals 4y, so you're left with 4y equals 15 plus 1 equals 16. And now you have to take the y by itself, so you divide both sides by 4. So y will equal 4. Now what you have to do is you have to substitute that 4 back into the equation to find x. I'm going to use this equation because it's easy. So I'm going to sub y equals 4 in 2. So I can write down 4 minus x equals 1. You take a 4 from each side, so it'll be negative x equals negative 3. And now you have to get rid of that negative, so you have to times both sides by negative 1. So if you times both sides by negative 1, it will be x equals 3. And now you have both of the letters. So with eliminations, the elimination method, what we need to remember is that you have to add, subtract, multiply, divide both the equations in order to get one of the pronumerals to be the same. You can use any method, that's the thing. You can multiply one equation by 2, one equation by 3. They don't have to be the same equation, the same number, sorry. But they just need to be the same pronumeral eliminated. One of the pronumerals to be eliminated, sorry. So say with this equation, you're given 2 equations, right? And you need to first figure out which number do you want to get rid of? Which number is the easiest? I would say that this is the easiest. So what I would do is I would write another equation. So I would want to multiply this equation by 2. So I can say, so this is equation 3 for me then. And I would write on this side, equation 2 times 2. So you would have to multiply the whole equation by 2. So it would be 10y minus 4x equals 8. Because remember, we're trying to get this pronumeral as the same as this pronumeral, which we have done. And now what we can do is we can add equation 1 and equation 3 together because there's already 2 of the same. So equation 1 plus equation 3. So now we can this equation 4 plus negative x equals 0. So you'd write 0. And then negative 3 plus 10 equals, so it's plus 7x. 7y equals 6 plus 8, that equals 14. So now you'd solve for y. So you'd divide both sides by 7. So it would be y equals 2. So now with this 2, you'd substitute it back into your equation. So I'm going to say let's substitute this 2 back into what's easier? Back into equation 1. Alright, so after you substitute that in, and then you have to obviously simplify, so it's 4x minus 6 equals 6. What you need to do is obviously do the opposite operation. So because it's negative, you add on both sides. You add 6 on both sides. So it'll be 4x equals 12. And then you have to divide. I will draw it, but I don't have much space. Then you would have to divide 4 on both sides. So then it would be x equals 4 divided by 12, 3. So we have y equals 2 and x equals 3. Alright guys, so simultaneous equations may be a bit difficult. It's understandable if they are. This is something that I don't think you guys have learned. And it's going to be really challenging. It's going to be extremely challenging. Just remember, don't ever look at the flowchart when it comes to this simultaneous equations exercise, and ever, do not look at this. All you need to know is if the format for one of the equations is y equals mx plus or minus c, then you can use the substitution method. If it doesn't, use the elimination method. That's it. That is honestly it. You don't need this. You can, if you do feel comfortable doing it one way, so if you're like, oh, I'm only comfortable doing it the substitution way, you can try to rearrange the formula to make sure that it's in a substitution way, but I wouldn't, because there's always another option. There's always an elimination way to do it. Even though it's more work, it'll get you the same result. And it'll probably give you the peace of mind that you did it this way than if you may have stuffed up during the substitution method. Remember that I'm always there. I'm always here to help. I'm legitimately a chat away now. Don't hesitate to contact me. I'm always here to support you guys. I'm always here to try making things interesting for you guys. But yeah, I'm always open to new suggestions. This is still new to me. I probably still won't get it. But yeah, please let me know if you need any help. If you do want me to go through it step by step, I'll be happy to help each and every one of you. Alright, cheers.